Hi, I'm Saren.
And I'm Ray.
We're your Spider Baby hosts from To Know Her Is to Fear Her, a Spider-Woman podcast, as well as proud members of the collective.
You're listening to Capes and Lunatics. Gimme, gimme.
Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to make sure you know all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on all new episodes of Wade's World, Boob Windows and Long Boxes, our Hard R movie reviews, and so much more, all completely uncensored. Access starts for as little as $1 a month, full videos when you pledge $3 a month. Check us out at the link in all of our show notes, or just go straight to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Hello, cats and kittens, dogs and cats, dogs and puppies, and humans who may have tuned into this show by accident as well. Welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I am your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burger Pits.
Phil, me, and Perich.
Hey, Philip, so glad to have you, as always. Oh, man, such a busy week out there right now. Jungle Cruise is dominating at the theaters, as well as you can in this day and age. Mm-hmm. And, I actually think that's a very interesting aspect of it. Now, you have not seen Jungle Cruise yet, right?
No, I have not.
Is Luca chomping at the bit to see it, or is he like, I could take or leave?
He's seen the trailers, he's seen the commercials. He really hasn't been asking me to see it, so.
Okay, well, yeah, if you're not a Dwayne The Rock Johnson fan, you're not a Dwayne The Rock Johnson fan. But there was a lot of talk made about the fact that this did outperform both Fast 9 and Black Widow. And I think that there's actually something very interesting about that, because I get the feeling that because it is a family movie, you have to, if you take your family to see it, if you are going to go to this film as a family, you have to buy tickets for each family member. Whereas, for the most part, people who are going to Black Widow probably aren't necessarily bringing their whole family along. Same for Fast 9, some families are. I'm not going to act like, in fact, Fast 9, it's all about family. But I really think that because it is a family film, that's what gave it its dominance. And I think that's where we might see a lot more people looking for where film is coming back. As it's coming back. Because, the truth is COVID isn't going away. We all have long COVID now. And we're going to have long COVID for much longer than we thought we were. Florida's doing its best to keep COVID alive. You'd think it was on their endangered species list. If only they protected the Everglades as well as they protect the COVID virus. But, well, they want to make it political, it gets political. And it shouldn't be. But anyway, no, I think that is a telling thing. I did watch Jungle Cruise. I loved Jungle Cruise. Both because, of course, my favorite Weird Al Yankovic song is Skipper Dan, which is not used in the film at all, but now I'm waiting for the mashups of images from Skipper Dan being used in or images from Jungle Cruise Ride being used into mashup videos for it. So I'm very excited about that. I also really love that they went out of their way to capture what you think about when you think about the Jungle Cruise Ride and making it into something that felt like a movie. So on just a ton of levels, it was really great. It does have, you can watch it and go, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's like, no, but this is in the 1900s, so industrial pirates of the 20th century, steampunk pirates of the 20th century, of the Caribbean.
So is this like Black Widow? Is it like where you can go to the theater or you can pay the $30 to see it, watch it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, and I paid $30 and I watched it and it was great. It was great there, but, I would have been happy to see it in the theater. If my kids were a little younger and they really wanted to see a Dwayne The Rock Johnson adventure film, I could totally see it. I could totally see if my kids were still young enough to drag places, Because, I've got a tween and a teenager now. You can't drag those things anywhere, They've got to want to go. They can no longer rely on just my fandom as their impetus. They have to want it themselves. So,
because it's probably shot to look nice in on the IMAX or
Oh yeah, and it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. I would love to see it in 3D. I would love to see it in all those different ways that it's available. Because you see, when you're watching it on your TV at home, it's like, oh, that would look so great in 3D. But what I will say is, it's not a film that relies only on its imagery. That's the thing. I got to think that a film like Fast 9 had to be seen in a theater.
Yeah.
I think that watching that on your TV is going to be like watching Duel on your TV. It's something you can do, and it's probably its own excitement, but it's like, yeah, this really needs to be in a theater.
I told you, I saw the first 2 episodes of Inhumans in IMAX. I was like, it's okay. And then I saw it on TV. I was like, ugh.
Yeah. And, well, that was just...
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm glad they never made an Inhumans film, because that would just be awful. Although, speaking of Inhumans, Marvel did put out more Marvel's Legends episodes. Just dropped 3 more, which include Loki, Peggy Carter, and the Avengers Initiative. And I hadn't even realized, because I remember I watched it when they dropped the first one for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I didn't even realize they made more, because it's really just a clip show. But they actually, going into the new What If series.
I was going to say, is that why they're dropping the Peggy Carter? Because isn't that the first episode, Captain Carter?
Yeah. But that's what's interesting, because if you see the trailer they did to announce that they're dropping, count them, 3 new episodes, pushing that Peggy Carter one, they make this everything is connected, everything matters, And then when you watch it, and they are actively avoiding things that weren't directly tied to the films. The one thing that is not directly tied to a film that they do reference in this is the Peggy Carter short. And that's the only non-Marvel film thing that gets referenced. There's nothing to the Peggy Carter series.
I was just saying, nothing for the TV show.
Nothing for the series. We don't get any Sousa. We get the clips from the movies. We get her as old lady Peggy, and then we get a couple of scenes from the Peggy Carter short, which I found interesting because, as I've made a point of, Hail to the King is not on Disney Plus. It's I think there might be one other short that's not on Disney Plus, but that's the one that was obvious to me that one is not on Disney Plus.
I wonder if they're trying to surprise everyone. I wonder if what's his face from Iron Man 3, is he going to show up in Shang-Chi?
Mm-hmm. Well, that is always the question. I actually think he will. See that, because that's the thing with all of these Legends things. The fact that they are actively not putting anything from the series in these things, even though we keep on hearing rumors about Charlie Cox coming in, or what's his name, Foggy Nelson on the She-Hulk film, or Jessica Jones in She-Hulk. So we're hearing Charlie Cox in Spider-Man, Jessica Jones showing up in the She-Hulk series. That we're getting all these things rumors, but nothing is being put into any of the stuff that they're showing us. And the question is, are they holding that off because they really want it to be a surprise when we're watching What If and we get some reference to Fitz and Simmons in the multiverse? Are we waiting for them to give us this revelation, and because they're about to go into What If, they don't want to spoil anything? Or is it that they know they really are not using any of this stuff, and none of it happened, or none of it matters until we say it does? And, and that, of course, is the difficulty. Because, there's reasons to think they won't be using any of this stuff, Phil. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're good reasons, but there are reasons. But at the same time, I think that their biggest problem is that the fans want it. The fans want Abomination back.
Yeah.
They want the leader back.
They heard Charlie Esser.
Well, they do. And look, you can say it's just me, Phil, but I know other nerds who aren't in my direct podcast circle. I'm on the boards.
I was going to say, I just hear you consistently. You're the one I hear consistently.
Well, yeah, because I'm very vehement about this. And the way that E-Man from E-Man's movie reviews is adamant about recasting T'Challa, I am adamant about integrating the television properties into the MCU, into the larger MCU. Recast where you have to, but don't just say that, but don't act like it didn't happen. That's my stance on it. That's my belief on it. Whether or not that's going to be the reality, I don't know. Just like E-Man doesn't know. E-Man was very upset because apparently someone said that there is an Easter egg in the images that were released from the new Black Panther film that apparently has written on a pillar that says, like, rest in power, King T'Challa, always in our hearts, that kind of thing. But, I think that is meant as an Easter egg for the people who created it, for the fans, for Chadwick Boseman. Not meant to be, this is the funeral of Black Panther. I really don't think that they're going to have anything that explicit in the film to just say that why Chadwick Boseman isn't there. That's not going to be that explicit. Like I said, in the worst case scenario, you might have everyone think Black Panther is dead, but then, what's that rising out of the lake at the end? After it was T'Challa's mother pretending to be Black Panther the whole line? But wait, who's that? So, yeah, there's going to be stuff that comes from that. And I think they're waiting for What If, because I think What If is going to be their get out of jail free card. Because I think a lot of that is going to be within this idea that there is crossover and that there are things that have happened in one universe that maybe didn't happen in another. And they might even do something about folding timelines, that says that, a timeline may branch off and diverge and then come back. And this leads to, your Mandela effects, as it were. It's like, what? No! What's his name? Phil Coulson died. Everyone knows Phil Coulson died. And of course, that's the thing, is Phil Coulson lived, but then he did die. And now there's just Max Coulson running around. So maybe we're going to get some stuff that's like, well, I'm not Phil Coulson. I'm Max, his twin brother. Like I said.
Or we'll get a T'Challa who looks kind of different.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely get it. I do think we'll get a T'Challa that looks different. I don't think, because here's what I'll say. If they had already established Storm.
Yeah.
If they'd already established, you could go into Storm and T'Challa's child. You could say stuff happened off screen. But, they're just now going to be possibly introducing Storm in this film. And whether or not they're even going to do that is debatable. And there are people like, we want Storm to be introduced. Other people are like, oh no, save Storm for when we can really introduce mutants in their own film. I think you need to start introducing mutants elsewhere in the universe. And as I've said, it will not surprise me if when we get to Eternals that we don't get both Rama Tut and Apocalypse in Eternals. At least in throwaway mentions or something that's hinted at in the background. That the idea that Apocalypse and Rama Tut are in this world that is spanning this space and time,
at some point, didn't Apocalypse have a connection to the Celestials? we're getting Celestials and Eternals.
Well, Apocalypse has connections to everything and that's really, the thing about mutants is, unlike Eternals, they are homegrown superhumans. There's nothing that the Eternals did to create mutants. Mutants were just the natural progression of humans. Which, like the Celestials made the perfect humans that are all superpowered beings, and created the deviants, which are also that. But as it turned out, humans always had that genetic potential within them to be mutations and to, change what they could be in extreme circumstances. So I think that's where they're going to unfold a lot of that stuff. We might get references to stuff like that in Shang-Chi, because I think that is the next one. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to see because I'm sure Val will be in that as well, because I think we're going to get a lot of stuff in that. I think we might get some stuff with Jimmy Woo, with, there was somebody else someone had mentioned recently who was another one of these, you have Shang-Chi, you have Jimmy Woo, and then there was like maybe I'm blanking on who that was, but the idea of these secret organizations, that are running these long cons behind the scenes. So, like, you have Shang-Chi taking over the 10 Rings. You have Jimmy Woo secretly the head of Atlas. Maybe we get to meet Venus. I want Venus in there because they're going to be introducing Zeus and Love and Thunder. So, might as well get some Venus and Gorilla Man in there somewhere. That's what I say. Was there anything else that was exciting this week that you want to talk about in pop culture, Phil?
Did you say something about you want to talk about Legends? We did.
Well, yeah. I talked about the Marvel Legends. Like I said, it's not much. It's a clip show.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's neat, but it's a clip show. It's like, hey, remember all these things that these characters did? And I realized, like I said, they did a bunch of them. So they did Zemo, which was kind of boring because we only had one thing with Zemo. We did our Winter Soldier stuff, which was fun.
I mean, I think they just do those for, like, the people. It's like, hey, you want to jump into the Marvel Universe, but, you're not going to sit down and watch 23 movies. It's like, here's the highlights of this character.
Yeah, here's one thing I do want to talk about Zemo, because it's like people keep on forgetting. Okay, Zemo's people were the guys dropping the bombs on Wanda and Pietro, right? Mm-hmm. They were the guys that were dealing with insurgents and rebels in their hiding out in Sokovia. So those Stark Industry bombs that were being dropped on those people, those were purchased with, Zemo money. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, yeah, they tried to play him in, Civil War, as a tragic figure, but I mean, he wasn't a nice guy, as we found out in Falcon and Winter Soldier now.
Oh yeah, well that's what I always say, that's the thing is, royals are never good people. You want, and really, I'm going to even say that about T'Challa, about the King of the Inhumans, about Namor, which they are saying Namor is going to be in the Black Panther.
Oh boy.
So, well, I've heard Namora. So people said, oh, this person was cast as Namora, which is like, okay, well, that's interesting.
We still haven't explained those undersea earthquakes.
Yeah, or, it's under the ocean. We ignore it. Because, really, maybe you should. Maybe don't stick your nose in the ocean, okay? There's certain things that maybe we don't need to investigate.
Well, in the beginning of Endgame, too, they were just like, we got a lot of fires burning, let's, that don't come out of the ocean, we don't worry about it right now.
Sometimes you gotta say, well, is it coming out of the ocean? Are there tsunamis? Are there, Scarlet, she wants to deal with it. But, she won't be dealing with much anymore, so we don't have to worry about that.
I mean, hopefully soon we'll get our crack team who investigates this stuff, undersea quakes, hey, there's strange seismic activity under a island in the South Pacific. Yeah. Is that where Monster Island is? South Pacific?
Yeah, South Pacific, yeah. Yeah, well, if only we had, some agents of some sort of organization that could be entrusted to protect the world as if they were some sort of a shield. Spear, that was the other organization I was thinking about, was that we could get, when we get to that, we're going to get Jimmy Choo and Atlas, and then also someone from Spear coming in. Because Spear, of course, is the eastern branch of S.H.I.E.L.D., of the ancient Brotherhood of the S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, I wonder, too, we're going to be getting Secret Invasion. I wonder if that's kind of sort of being kept hush-hush, that maybe they're going to rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D. there, with, Nick Fury and everyone. Maybe they'll bring Coulson and the others in, but maybe we'll also get, our Clay Quartermains and stuff like that.
We're going to need a S.H.I.E.L.D. Or a hammer. Norman Osborn, Iron Patriot. Just skip the whole Green Goblin. That's my recommendation with Norman Osborn. Just skip Green Goblin and make the fanboys cry. That's that. I want them to just do Iron Patriot, Norman Osborn, and his Dark Adventures. That to me, that would be chef's kiss.
Or he just does Iron Patriot first, then like the whole movie, they're like, "You're a monster, you're a monster." And the end of that first one, he's just like, "You want me to be a monster?" And he pulls on that green mask. "I'll give you a monster."
Yes. Yeah, that would be great. And it should be a really great rubber mask too.
Mm-hmm.
I want the rubber mask.
Yes.
Oh, that was one of those weird things where there was like a time where they weren't quite clear. Is it a rubber mask or does he actually turn into a goblin? And they were very ambiguous about that several times throughout the series. So, at least that's my feeling on it. I don't know. What's yours? Do you want to talk some comic books, Phil?
Yes.
You have a lot.
Yeah.
Because I also found a bunch of my comic books I hadn't read in a while. Mm-hmm. So let's get these out of the way. Checkmate 1 and 2.
Okay.
I read them.
I read those.
So, and again, this Manhunter guy, he's basically, I guess, pulling that whole Agents of Atlas thing of we're going to protect or actually it's really the Ra's al Ghul thing, I guess. We're going to protect the world from itself, and we had to destroy all the spy agencies to do it.
Yeah, he was basically like, the system has been corrupt, and it hasn't been doing the world too much good. So I'm gonna tear it all down and build a better world. Yeah. Yes,
and that just sounds great, and I do love just the idea. I love in the second issue where like the young person's like, "What is it with your generation and Superman? You guys all seem obsessed with Superman," and he just like. You do understand we exist only because Superman has decided to let us to exist, which is that great deconstruction of Superman. It's like, yeah, Superman, he's a force for good and righteousness and justice and truth and a better world. But you realize if he ever thought that we weren't for a better world, he would completely dismantle us within minutes. It is just the fact that he has decided that, okay, gonna let it play out, gonna see what they're gonna do.
And I mean, now it's like, Bendis, of course revealed Superman's identity, so it's like, hey, look, Superman was hiding under our noses the whole time. He can disappear at will, and you'll never see him coming.
Yeah. But also along those same lines, everyone now knows that he's married to Lois Lane, so be careful with Lois Lane. We all saw that episode of Superman the Animated Series where Intergang kills Lois. Don't be Intergang. Manhunter, don't be Intergang. And they dropped off Damien at a high school. I guess because that's where you belong, little Damien.
Get back to school, kid.
Everybody being mean to poor Damien. And, yeah. It's a little hard to follow because they jump around a lot in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, are you the ticket to the snowman or something like that? Or are you the snowman's ticket? That was, at first I'm thinking, are they like referencing Falcon and the Snowman? Which was a 1960s little spy cat and mouse. I forget who's in it. I want to say Walter Matthau's in it, but I don't remember. But I kind of was reading that, and like no one is mentioning Falcon and the Snowman. But they also like, well, because she's a spy, and this is like some spy craft. So I was like, so is that supposed to be a reference to Falcon and the Snowman? So, I don't know. I was confused. What did you think, Philip?
I liked it. Yeah, I don't think they've explained that snowman thing yet. Because remember, originally the person who did the whole started this whole Checkmate thing was Bendis, so of course he was dragging his feet on a lot of stuff, so we didn't get a lot to explain.
Well, I mean, Checkmate existed before Bendis.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying this current stuff with Manhunter and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I have no problem with the new Checkmate. It's kind of got that, got that, like, post-Shield, post-Fall of Shield, Nick Fury's running Shields out of Black Ops sites by himself kind of vibe to it, which I enjoy.
Oh, and this week's Justice, well, it was continued from last month's Justice League. Yeah, Green Arrow and Black Canary get attacked by some assassins, and I guess it's going to tie into this Checkmate stuff. And Black Canary's like, "Oh, we're going to have a long talk about this Checkmate stuff you've dragged me into without even telling me."
I saw in the thing, he has to get her a good anniversary gift. So obviously, he's in the quiver. He's in the dog cave. Robin issue 4. He's still alive, Phil.
I know.
Apparently it wasn't Batman who rescued him. It was his pet demon Goliath. Oh! And then we get to see, Ra's al Ghul.
Yep, Grandpa.
Grampy Al Ghul, who's all zen and which I love, and it's just such a great idea for him that every so often, of course my plans burn to the ground all the time, and you need to take a gap century. It's like, well, what did I do wrong? And that's sort of where he's at with that. But I also like, and it's weird because it's like this stuff is all happening in the course of a couple nights, but they give him a training montage, which is weird because he's still healing from when he was beaten up, but when Hawk tried to kill him, which is against the rules, people point out. But he's been nursed back to health, and he's fighting with his grandpa. But then, like I said, there's this whole training montage, and I guess you're supposed to think that this is taking place over an hour. Like, literally, it's like Jedi training. Okay, just run around with me on your back for a couple minutes, lift a couple rocks. Jedi! So that's the biggest... Again, there's this weird thing with time in these books. And maybe it's all going to make sense, because Barry Allen and the Speed Force and whatever happened to Wally West, and everybody's time is flowing a little bit differently now.
Well, I think wasn't Roz too? I'm trying to remember because this was at least a week or two ago. Wasn't Roz just your father, and he didn't say it, but of course Dick Grayson too, taught you all the the actual fight moves and stuff, but it's they didn't give you the right mindset.
Yeah, and this is all about that mindset. Yeah. So in our little, like I said, 2-page montage, he explains to Robin, in fact, actually, here it is. Yeah, so it's right here you get 4 panels showing the training montage.
Yeah.
As the sun sets, and then we get to the stars and all that kind of stuff, because that's this whole thing about how I have to go to the stars, because most of the stars are disappearing now, and this is what I'm trying to preserve for the world, stars. And just that idea that, we need to have fewer people on the planet. That's always the end. Fewer people on the planet. But it's okay, Thanos. This is an interesting character by the name of Respawn. Which, okay, he's got the hook with the chain on it, like some other character you may have heard of. The hook with the chain.
Yeah.
Spawn, yeah. But then, you also kind of get that, because he's named Respawn, you're thinking,
video
Deadpool?
Or video games too, because it's they respawned, and all these guys get 3 lives on this island and stuff.
Yeah, so he's interesting, to put it to you simply. I want to see where they're going to go with him. He kills, what's her name? The girl Wilson daughter?
Oh,
Teen Wilson?
Rose, yeah.
Rose Wilson, yeah. And, so that's that. So once Respawn kills her, then the games can actually begin, because now everyone has had their one death, and now we can all start, and everyone gets their 2 deaths. And you can leave after your 2nd death, but your 3rd death, that's permanent. Because only willing sacrifices are accepted by whatever the great Googly Mook is. I did not even realize that. It takes place in Corto Maltese.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where the Suicide Squad takes place?
Is it Corto Maltese?
It is Corto Maltese.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so... Yes, you called it, Tristan.
Oh, no.
So, there we go, that.
Oh, no. I wonder if eventually in the comic, are we going to get Damian on the Suicide Squad?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. But there's this whole thing where these these two, the Assassin's Guild and the League of Shadows, they trade some Lazarus resin for a book. And Damien, just being a total kid, like, what in a book could be more valuable than immortality? It's like, do you even live in this universe, Damien? It's a book with secrets. You know, of course it's more valuable than, just something that'll bring you back to life once or twice. Yeah. You know. But he gets visited, of course, by the ghost of Alfred again. And then, before he's going to go attack a bunch of ninjas, he gets visited by the Bat Fam. So that's how we end this issue. I am enjoying Robin. It's sticking around. It's worming its way into my heart, Philip. As well, a book like this should. Do you got a book you want to call out?
That's a lot of good stuff. I'm sure you read Immortal Hulk 49.
Yes, I did. Where did I put it?
Did you see it next?
One of the ones.
Of course, 50 is going to be the finale for Al Ewing. Did you see? I guess they're skipping next month and then just going straight to October for the finale. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, in the letters page in the back. Yeah.
I mean, this one was all text-based, which was weird. It was neat. And I like the parallels. You know, Fantastic Four goes up in a rocket. The Hulk comes down in a bomb. And it's the old military guy and the scientist and his girlfriend and the teenager. And, you know, I think they're kind of stretching that metaphor, like hammering it in to fit. But God bless them, they did it. And Jackie McGee going along with the whole thing. That was nice. That was nice. But it was a beautiful book. I'll say this much. This is a beautiful book. I love the prose style written on the two sides.
Yeah, because it's Al gets to tell his story, and then like the artist gets to stretch his legs too, with no word bubbles over his art.
Yeah, and the description of the Fantastic Four, making them seem just as monstrous again to be that other side, and they kind of reference the fact that Johnny Storm can't turn off his flame at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because, that's, necessary for the next week and a half.
And they use the Forever Gate.
I can never be again.
And they use the Forever Gate.
Yeah, they use the Forever Gate. And they're like, using it kind of like Alrek or Aldrek, It'll take you where you need to go. But we'll see what it actually does. I don't know where it takes them. But Jackie McGee, and what's funny is they're like, but only one person can go through, but Jackie goes through anyway. It's like, we just said only one being can go through.
Well, is that why?
Why do you think that's not going to have any negative consequences?
Was that what happens at the end there? Because it almost looks like it's like trying to rip the two Hulks in half or whatever.
No, but she says she steps through with him.
Yeah, I know.
So you have to get the idea that maybe it's like, she screwed it up by doing that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Like, I think maybe this is where she gets her gamma infestation.
Because it looked like it was trying to
rip some kind of...
Yeah, well, it looks like it was trying to rip Joe from the Green Hulk, and they only got halfway separated.
Well, speaking of gamma infestations, we can talk World War She-Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Which was... I don't want to say it's disappointing. It's not disappointing. It's great. I just wanted more of what's going on with She-Hulk. And, what we get with Vostok, and apparently he's like a liquid metal android, which is not a power I've seen him use before, but, I guess they're giving it to him now. And I don't know, man. It's just interesting, everything about it, because it's like they're trying to break She-Hulk, and it's like, okay, this is a person who is constantly dealing with a Hulk persona, arguably more than one Hulk persona, and you're just like you're freaking Doc Samson and the Ringmaster, just gonna go right in there and fix it. It is a little bit far-fetched, in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%, but all I'll say is you probably have a better chance of success with Jennifer Walters than you do with Bruce Banner.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to do it.
I don't even know if we got...
do it with her.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if we got a success with this. Because really,
no.
all they kind of did was, I mean, maybe arguably kind of like...
changed her outer appearance.
Kind of like Professor Hulk. Yeah, they unlocked Red Jen Walter She-Hulk when she's a blonde. Dear God, she's a blonde, Phil. You know, she's a big-bosomed, muscular blonde. I'm just saying.
I wonder if they're going to pull a Banner.
Everything I know.
I wonder if they're going to pull a Banner with her now and she's going to have multiple Hulks inside her. Is she going to have, like, multiple personalities now? DID.
Have Red Room Hulk? Yeah, who knows? Well, you know, or she's just going to actually start reciting, you know, contract law again, you know? Because that's obviously what it's going to come back to. Because that's obviously, this is her focus, is that she's a professional lawyer. She has built her world on holding structures and understandings of things in her mind. And all you really do when you bring out the Hulk is annoy the lawyer. And, you know, you think a Hulk is bad, wait until you get a lawyer on your case.
No.
That's when you have to worry, Philip. Is there any other Marvel books you want to talk? I got my 3 indies here.
Well, before we get to the one...
I got my 3 indies and one more Marvel book.
If you haven't read it...
From me.
If you haven't read it, you have to read
I haven't read...
Guardians of the Galaxy Annual #1.
Oh, God. Yeah, I saw that. I was thinking, oh, man, I should read that. Because I actually just looked at the down. I had so many books I was trying to get through. I just looked at it.
It's part of the...
Who's Hercules fight?
That's, well, the guy's calling himself Prince of Power, because even in this, Hercules is like, hey, that's my name. And, you know, Prince of Power is like, oh, you're an old man. And we get the origin of Prince of Power.
Well, I mean, technically, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, I am several thousand years old, but that's still not nice, young man.
But no, it's just funny because Prince of Power comes from the planet of Muscula.
Oh, God, he's He-Man.
Yeah, well, it turns out, like, him and his brother, he has, like, a twin brother who is, like, supposed to be the chosen one, supposed to be He-Man, and basically they're like, oh, this other one, he can do whatever he wants. You know, we have our perfect one already, but then, one day while Prince of Power, I forget his former name, while he was eating a bowl of jelly beans, swallows the Power Stone.
Oh, Lord of Hammers.
Yes, and it gives him, like, a He-Man-like body, yeah. But then, while they're fighting, what do they call him? Not Skeletor, but the ambush. Oh, what's this guy's name? What always had like in the middle of a barbecue? The Skeletor guy. They just they're coming after him at his barbecue, but then the Skeletor guy gets saved by his henchman Betrayo. He's like, oh, I thought you were going to... Skeletor's like, I thought you were going to betray me, huh?
It's just my name, man!
And then Prince...
Let a man outlive the mistakes of his parents. So it was Skeletor just literally having a barbecue and they attack him?
Oh, literally, yeah.
Did you get like a Kiss the Cook kind of apron on, man? It's just...
No.
I mean, I gotta read this. Obviously, it's delightful.
Well, usually he's scheming, but he's like, this is no Scheme Tuesday.
Yeah, no Scheme Tuesday. Well, they have Tuesday on that planet. That's nice.
But Prince of Power picks up the Sword of Strength and he's like, I am going to obliterate all evil from this planet. And his brother's like, wait a minute. You know, the evil's like embedded in there with the good, even in the planet. So, like, yeah, Prince of Power blows up his whole planet. Mm-hmm. He's the sole survivor. Yes. So I guess the stone. He had he was. I don't know if he was kind of smart before, but once he got the body, like his IQ really dropped. So
yeah, someone needs to punch him in the stomach so that the stone just pops out. Like, because I'm assuming they follow cartoon logic in this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and
because all the other stones somehow managed to merge in some kind of cosmic way with the other beings. But with him, no, it's just he swallowed it with a bowl of jelly beans.
Oh, but then we get the Fury back up. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is.
He's working with Nighthawk, and they're what did he steal? They're getting chased by the cops and stuff. Oh, he stole something from Project Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, a sliver of the cosmic cube. So, of course, Nighthawk...
Oh, God, those things are never good.
Well, they go back to his headquarters, and Nighthawk's like, oh, here, I got something for you. And I guess it's like a Falcon costume, because the Falcon died over in Heroes Reborn.
Oh, yeah.
But right before, I don't know if he, hypnotized himself, but as Fury's putting on the costume, he just starts saying, intervention trigger, countdown. He's like, wait, I can't move. Juxtapose. Felchion, Castle... So, again, I don't know if he, Fury... hypnotize himself so he can't be
Of course he did. He's Nicholas J. freaking Fury.
Oh yeah, it looks like he even has a tattoo that says "Remember."
Oh yeah, you got to have at least 2 of those, man.
Mm-hmm.
Has one tattooed inside his eyelid of his bad eye, just so he sees it. Remember who you are, Nicholas.
But yeah, I mean, while they're getting chased by the cops, Fury's thinking, he's like, yeah, I don't know if this is how Nighthawk got him at first. He was just like, yeah, over in, the world Nighthawk saw, my father became president of the United States instead of just disappearing under mysterious circumstances, and branded as a traitor or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I do wonder how they're going to square this whole circle at the end of it. He's still in LMD with no belly button. That's one thing I'll say. And, but then again, so is Phil Coulson in the MCU. So who knows where it's going, Phil? But yeah, I knew that whole mind hypnosis wasn't going to work on Nicholas Fury.
Oh yeah.
I knew that it's because not for nothing. It's like twice a week people are trying to mind control me. Yeah. I'm a freaking spook in a sci-fi universe. You really think that the Faustus method? It's yes, I know. I have a file on it. I have literally sat in a room with Dr. Faustus himself. You don't think I know what you're doing. And, of course, in that kind of situation, it's always just best to play along. Because if you don't play along, they're going to just keep on doing it. But if you just say, oh, yeah, no, totally 4 lights, man. Can we go now? Are we done? Are we done here? It's that's always that thing with the whole 4 lights. It's why don't you just say, or 5 lights, 3, whatever. However many lights you want me to say. That's how many lights, okay? Because you want me to see 4 lights. Well, that's not going to happen because you're a lunatic and you're just being kind of a sadist right now. Your mother would not be proud. That's what I say.
Oh, hey, before you move on to your indies, did you read Savage Avengers 23?
Yeah, that was actually what I picked up, Savage Avengers.
Nice.
And we can talk Sinister War if you want to.
It was good, but, there was, most of Sinister War number 2 it was like a big punch 'em up. Yeah,
and I think I picked it up in the store and just said, But anyway, I like this. I guess Shema-Gorath is dead now? Is that what we take from this? That basically Doctor Strange puts Shema-Gorath out of his misery?
I would assume now, yeah.
Yeah, but then binds up the killing dagger with the Crimson Band, so that's coming back.
And I think we're starting to hint around at the death of Doctor Strange, too, because what was that in the beginning?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, the last days are the worst as he's coughing.
Well, to be fair, it's, it's gee, he might die again. Like the ancient one does occasionally. Can I say what I love about this is Pirate Conan.
Oh, okay.
Pants and buckled shoes, and he is just rocking it. He's he doesn't have to always wear a smelly loincloth. That's not like a personal statement, He's like, no, these are nice clothes, and they're very comfortable. I like the silk on the inside of my muscular arms.
Can I just say my favorite part is when Doctor Strange, wants a more subtle way to get to Shema-Gorath, so he needs access to the nexus of all realities. So he visits the Swamp Thing, and how does he pay him? Gives him a cupcake.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows Man-Thing loves cupcakes.
And just...
You even see
I know, love
cupcake.
That little heart, yeah.
Cupcake. He likes chocolate. I don't know. I don't know what Man-Things eat. I can't see any reason for them not to like chocolate. And the fact of the matter is clearly Doctor Strange knew. You know what Man-Thing loves? Cupcakes. And I think this is going to be a kind of thing. This is the kind of little note that is just going to be a story going forward. Like, that's just always going to be a thing. Every writer is going to say, well, if you give a man thing a cupcake,
it's going to be dessert.
He's going to let you.
It's going to be dessert every time.
Yeah, he's going to give you access to the nexus of all realities. And I actually kind of like Doctor Strange. Like, I've come to understand maybe you're an important thing. You're part of the balance of the cosmos. Like, yeah, great. Kill me anyway. And then we've got the ex-Nazi guy who's been resurrected again. And Conan's like, well, I guess I'll cut off his head again. And, but now Shemaggorath, again, someone's got a citadel in New York City. Because, as you do. Remember when the New York City was turned into a desert with pyramids everywhere? Like 3 weeks ago? It's got to be like, it's just like, yeah, I know. It's a floating citadel in the sky. They pass.
I love when Conan comes into Doctor Strange's, like, at the end of the last issue. We see it here, and he's just like, you see Shemaggorath there. He's like, this is why I don't trust wizards, Strange.
Yeah, it's just like, do you mind? I'm with a patient. Which I love. It's delightful. Okay, so indie books I got too. We got Missy from I think about 3 weeks ago. Finally got to read it. It's always fun. It's energetic. They're back in the 60s at Unit. The Master wants to kill the Brigadier for some reason. Well, I mean, I guess because he always wants to kill the Brigadier for some reason. But it's like, I don't know, man. But he figures out that Missy is actually the Master. And then you find out that actually Missy was working with the Peter Capaldi Doctor Who the whole time, and to get the key of time, which is apparently the key to the TARDIS or some nonsense, because it is just like a very basic looking, like, Schlaggy key. And we see at the end that she does give Doctor Who the key back, the key to the TARDIS, but she makes an impression of it so she can make her own key to the TARDIS. So I hope we haven't seen the last of Missy. I'm hoping they're saying that, the current Doctor Who is ending if the actress who played Missy comes back as Doctor Who. I would not be opposed to that. We all have faces we can choose.
I thought we all agreed it was supposed to be Maz Manzoor.
Maz Manzoor, he's a busy man,
Ah, true.
Sounds like a plan. Have a good night.
I would love Maz Manzoor to be Doctor Who with all my heart, because then I get to be a companion.
Oh, nice.
And that's the job you want. You want to be the companion, because you want to just say, what is it, Doctor? And
without a doubt.
I don't know. Yeah, without a doubt. That's cool. So my other two books this week are monster books. Ooh. We have Elvira Meets Vincent Price and American Mythology Monsters, Issue 1. What do you want to read, Phil?
I didn't read either, so tell me. You pick.
Okay, so American Mythology, number 1, because I'm going to save Elvira for last because she's awesome. Unless you have another book you want to do, man.
No,
okay. I have a lot of books, I know. This is your classic black and white tale. It is 3 tales, told as part 1 of 3, so we have to get more. But each one is also a nicely self-contained little black and white horror tale. First one is a guy who's got, like, a hole in his hand that's, like, because he, like, gets a sliver in his hand, and he's like, oh, man. Then he digs the sliver out, and there's a big hole, and he looks in the hole, and he's like, he can see there's something in there. And then it turns out the doctor he goes to is part of a weird cult who've been waiting for the door to the passageway to the universe outside of the Eye of God, where they can be at peace, and they kill the guy's wife as a blood sacrifice for the opening, so they can go to the place beyond the Eye of God, and of course, that's a different one here. And of course, the tentacled monsters of doom come out of the guy's hand and eat all of the cultists and take the poor guy's pinky too.
Wow.
And somehow I thought there was a scene here where the cops come in and arrest him, but maybe I'm wow, how am I misremembering something I literally just read? Anyway, and then the next one is an old coal mine union boss wants to get the union organizer in trouble. He hires a guy to sort of frame him or to take pictures of him stepping out with his mistress, but make sure it doesn't get tied back to him. I want to make sure I don't show any of the naughty bits in this. But they basically, as they're talking to them, the guys wind up all horribly murdered. And then you find out that the guy that was hired is some sort of mystic being who puts people in bad situations and bad judgments. And the evil coal boss goes to jail, and our well-dressed evil trickster goes on to his next thing. The last one is Jade the Vampire. This was actually pretty cool. It's a little overwrought. Basically, woman's family has a rare blood disorder that causes the blood to lose nutrients and eventually start digesting the body. She thinks she finds a cure and injects herself with it. Kind of like Mobius, if I'm not mistaken. But, there's this whole thing about her grandmother who was a big believer in voodoo. She gets put in her grandmother's crypt, then she comes back as a vampire! She's about to attack two poor innocent nerds on the beach, but then, fortunately, a rich white lady comes in and almost runs her over and yells at her. So she eats her instead. And then she's not a decayed corpse anymore and steals her car. Yay! Eat the rich, kids! And finally, Elvira meets Vincent Price. Man, the expanding Elvira-verse is a delight. Because you see her trying to pitch a new horror series based on all of her crazy adventures, Elvira in Hell, Elvira versus the witches, etc., etc. And then you find out that she's having these dreams where she's clearly being attacked by this person, Cleopatra, who I think showed up in a previous book and maybe ran off with Dracula. I'm not quite sure, but it sounds familiar in my Mandela-affected brain. And then, of course, Vincent Price is visiting her in her dreams, and he needs her help to say. And honestly, it's like a Scooby-Doo episode come to life, where she's just like, Vincent Price! And he manifests in the physical world. We find out that the writer who seduced her has now teamed up with Cleopatra to sell all of her ideas and adventures, but with Cleopatra as the new mistress of the dark. So she's very upset by all of that. And her and Vincent Price, because they have to find The Rise of the Ram, which is apparently a lost media bit, because I've been doing lots of lost media stuff on YouTube lately, so that's fun. And turns out this film was supposed to have never been made, but someone panned it before it was even released, and then they said, actually, that film never got made, so you panned something that never existed. But now Vincent Price is saying, actually, it does exist. We have to find a copy of the tape, or the world is doomed. And, of course, Vincent Price is breaking the fourth wall a bit, too, as Elvira often does, and says, well, I could tell you why we have to find it, but I don't think the audience can deal with that much info dump in one time. No. So, basically, they find the guy. He says, don't say the name of the film. Elvira says it, and he bursts into flames. And then, what's this dude's name? Amun-Ra shows up to kill them all. And issue 1. Elvira meets Vincent Price. Buy it, because I said so. It's a good, fun book, enjoyable on every level. And I'm glad I read it. And that's all the books I read this week, Philip.
Nice.
I have more books that I haven't been able to read yet, but we'll get to those in future episodes, or I'm just going to tell them to stop pulling them. I don't have time to read this many books. Anything else you want to talk about tonight, Philip?
No, I think we're good.
Well, then how can people reach us if they want to talk to us about all the joys and wonders of the things we discussed today?
Well, you can always get a hold of me or anyone else on the team at capesandlunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can always find us all our social media, the YouTube channel, the Patreon, the merchandise at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics.
And, of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our mothers and fathers once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet things when I feel like it. Not Legends of Tomorrow as much as I would like to, because I just forget to. And I'm kind of losing interest, even me. And I guess they're getting one more season, so okay, good for them. But Stargirl's coming back, but premieres on the 11th when What If drops, and we're recording our big What If episode. So
Stargirl,
yeah, doesn't it come back on August 11th?
I think it comes the day before, I believe.
Oh, well, then maybe I'll have time to tweet it. So, hey, watch for that. If it's on and I'm there, maybe I'll tweet it, because I would like to, because I like Stargirl still. And that is at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. I love that Maz is on every show. All right, friends, that's been another episode of Superconnectivity. I really hope you've enjoyed connecting with me. I certainly hope you come back next week and super connect with us again. Good night. Next week is the big What If episode.
Yeah, that's right. Next episode, yes. We'll be reviewing the first episode of What If. Well, is it the first episode, or are they dropping did you say, are they dropping a few the first week?
Well, I know it's at least the first.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say at least the first episode, and then we'll talk some old What If issues, so.
Yeah, and our favorite What Ifs, and we do have a lot of them.
I mean, there's 2 regular series of it, and then they've done a bunch since then, too.
I know, there's a lot of What Ifs. The best ones are Captain America Revived Today.